Why your kindness keeps getting hunted. Have you ever wondered why your smartest moves still backfire? Or why your strength scares the wrong people and attracts the wrong fights? Maybe you've tried to be clever, subtle hints, careful positioning, diplomacy, and somehow you still ended up cornered by louder, blunter actors. Or maybe you went the other way and tried to be bold, clear line in the sand, no nonsense standards, and suddenly the room labeled you difficult, the email threads cooled, and opportunities went quiet. It's not that you're broken, it's that you've been playing half-human in a world calibrated for both. Machiavelli's sentence isn't just a metaphor, it's an operating system. Be cunning enough to read the game and strong enough to end the game. The fox who sees every trap dies to the first wolf. The lion who scares every wolf steps right into the first snare. Survive long enough and you discover the truth. You must wear two faces that share one spine. Let's make this brutally practical. The traps in your life rarely look like pits with spikes. They look like just this once favors that become a job you never applied for. They look like meetings with no agenda that steal your afternoon because you were too nice to ask for one. That's fox territory. Pattern recognition, early warning, soft pivots that avoid wasting months. But what happens after the warning? What happens when the trap is set by someone who benefits from your silence? That's where the lion enters. One decisive move, calm and heavy, that changes the math. Fox to see, lion to act. Without the pair, you oscillate between exhaustion and conflict, cleverness without momentum and courage without outcome. Here is the core mistake most kind people make. They believe fairness will protect them. They assume that if they are clear, thoughtful, consistent, the world will reciprocate. Sometimes it does. Often it doesn't. Why? Because in noisy systems, incentives beat intentions. The person who keeps accommodating becomes the path of least resistance, even if they're the most competent in the room. The person who explodes at every slight becomes a spectacle, memorable but avoided when it matters. The fox and lion strategy rewires this. You set incentives with your cunning and enforce them with your presence. The fox writes the map. Fewer entrances to your time, clearer prices for your yes, earlier detection of nonsense. The lion guards the map. When someone tries to redraw your boundaries, you don't lecture, you act once and let the action teach. Pause for a moment and scan the last month of your life. Where did you sense a trap and still walk in? Where did you roar and still lose? The fox part failed when you ignored your body's micro-flinches. The tiny tightening of the chest when that person asked for a quick chat. The subtle dread when you saw the subject line, small request. The heat behind your ears when someone joked at your expense and you laughed along. The lion part failed when you tried to enforce a limit with a paragraph instead of a sentence, with a plea instead of a decision, with a threat you weren't willing to keep. The good news is that both skills are trainable and they compound. Every trap you see a day sooner saves you 10 days of repair. Every boundary you enforce 1 minute sooner saves you a month of resentment. Let's examine the fox in the wild. Quiet, surgical, endlessly observant. The fox is not paranoid. The fox is prepared. The fox notices patterns, not excuses. Who speaks only when they need something? Who forgets commitments but remembers favors? Where do projects die? Handoff, review, or just a small change? In your career, fox sight means you install simple tripwires that trigger before the pit opens. No meeting without an agenda. No quick call that lasts an hour. No brainstorm that isn't a decision in disguise. In your relationships, fox sight means you recognize love bombing as the first phase of unpaid work, and flattery as a gentle leash that leads to a heavier harness. That line is a tripwire. Most traps collapse when asked to produce bullet points. Now, the lion. The lion is not rage. The lion is resolution. The lion doesn't write essays about fairness. The lion moves a paw once and the room recalibrates. The lion uses exits instead of arguments. The lion leaves the room that wants a circus and returns to the room that wants a result.
The lion's tone is finished, not cruel, not brittle, not apologetic. Finished tone is the acoustic signature of adulthood. People rearrange themselves around it because they can feel consequences without you acting them out. Here's where most strategies jump the tracks: coordination. If you run fox and lion in the wrong order, you either die clever or win messily. Run fox first to see the field, then lion to reset the field. Never roar into fog. You'll hit a wall you didn't map and call yourself unlucky. Never analyze forever. The trap springs while you are still labeling it. The cadence is simple: notice, name, narrow, decide. Notice the signal your body offers: tension, speed, dread. Narrow your options to two: coach it or cut it. Decide once. If you coach, the fox writes the one-line rule and a deadline. If you cut, the lion ends the loop with a clean exit and zero aftercare. Let's walk through an example, hoping your conscientiousness will rescue them. Fox: you stop believing cheerful lies and move the cutoff 2 hours earlier on your end. Lion: the next time a late draft arrives, you don't scold, you ship without it. One move, no sermon. Watch how fast memory improves when there is a price and no theater. Another example: a friend only calls at midnight to unload. Fox: you notice the pattern and set windows in your head. Lion: when the call arrives, you don't answer. If they want your presence, they'll move to your light. If they want your midnight, they were hunting your energy, not seeking your company. The fox identified the trap. The lion declined to step in. You saved the friendship or you saved yourself. Both are wins. But what about optics? Won't people think you're calculating? Yes, like a bridge calculates load so families don't die crossing it. Calculation prevents collapse. There's nothing manipulative about knowing what you can carry and making that visible. In fact, here is the paradox. When your boundaries are felt, your warmth is believed. When your time has shape, your generosity becomes vivid. When your no lands clean, your yes becomes gold. People don't prefer tyrants, they prefer legibility. The fox and lion strategy gives them a map. Those who wanted a jungle will complain. Let them. You weren't building for hunters. Good. The fox hates confrontation too. The fox wins before the fight exists. Begin with tiny, unsexy controls. 2 daily windows for replies, not instant notifications. 1-page promises for projects so scope creep dies in daylight. 3-sentence closes for meetings so decision amnesia can't breed. Each control is a trap detector. They don't punish, they prevent. Then add 1 lion move per week, not 10, 1. Leave a room on time. Decline a maybe you habitually say yes to. Enforce your first no with a calm repeat. The first month feels like withdrawal because you were addicted to being praised for compliance. By month 2, the room stops testing. By month 3, the invitations you get align with your design. There is a deeper reason to run both animals: dignity. The fox protects your time from your fear. The lion protects your peace from your guilt. The world does not need another resentful helper. It needs warm, precise people who can finish what they start without bleeding out. That requires cunning on the front end and consequence on the back end. Fox to filter, lion to finalize. There's one more layer your competitor-style audience loves: the identity flip. The fox and the lion aren't costumes. They're an identity braided from 2 truths. First truth: you are a limited resource. Second truth: you are a dangerous steward of that resource when you decide to be. Dangerous not to others, dangerous to entropy, drift, scope creep, and guilt. When you embody that, rooms subliminally recalibrate. You'll notice it in tiny ways. People arrive on time, speak more carefully, ask before they assume. That's not fear of you. That's respect for reality finally enforced. If this is making sense, if you feel the quiet sting of self-recognition, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Before we close this first part, a small drill that can change your week. Take a sheet of paper and draw 2 columns. On the right, write 1 fox rule and 1 lion move for each. Post this where your eyes land at the start of your day. For 7 days, keep it boring. Don't argue with anyone, don't justify, just apply the rules and make 1 lion move daily. Watch your week reshape itself around your edges. The traps won't vanish, they'll simply lose their favorite prey. The wolves won't disappear, they'll just look for a forest where the lion is sleeping. We'll go deeper into the fieldcraft of each animal, how the fox detects traps in conversation, email, contracts, and body language, and how the lion enforces consequences with minimum words and maximum clarity. So you stop burning energy on drama and start compounding energy into momentum. What if you could feel a trap 30 seconds before it closed? Like a faint pressure drop in the room, a tone shift in a message, a smile that's 1 degree too bright. Imagine how many months of cleanup you'd never have to do if your instincts weren't vague hunches but repeatable reads. That's the fox's promise, not paranoia, pattern literacy. Once you learn the signatures, traps stop being dramatic events and become boring signals you handle in 2 sentences or less. Start with conversation because most traps ride on sound before they ride on paper. The classic signature is the soft ask that hides a hard cost. It begins with praise, widens with vagueness, and ends with your calendar bleeding. Listen for this 3-beat melody. You're amazing at this. Praise. It's just a small thing. Vagueness. I knew I could count on you. Presumption. The fox doesn't argue with flattery or attack the person. The fox forces the cost into daylight. That sentence is a tripwire. Real needs cross it. Traps fall apart on contact because traps can't survive bullet points. Now email. The fox reply is a frame that refuses fog. To confirm, what's the single outcome, the owner, and the date? If they can't name 1 outcome, you just avoided a meeting that was going to become your problem. If they can, you've turned a fog bank into a road with signs, and now the lion can actually enforce it later. Contracts next, formal terrain where people pretend traps are sophistication. Translate each to numbers or kill it. If someone resists numbers, you have found a trap with paperwork. Smile and walk away. You didn't lose a client, you dodged a lawsuit disguised as friendship. Body language is subtler but faster. A trap often arrives with a borrowed familiarity, standing too close, touching your arm repeatedly, using nicknames before trust exists. That isn't always malice. It is often testing. Will you yield micro-boundaries? The fox holds ground politely. Take a half step back, square your shoulders, keep your chin level, and slow your voice. Watch their eyes. Honest people look up and to the side to think, then offer specifics. Opportunists loop back to praise or pressure. Now you know who you're dealing with without a fight. The fox watches time. Traps hate clocks. Install clocks everywhere. Friday noon wrap with decisions. Meeting ends at 28 with a 3-sentence close. These are not quirks, they are countermeasures. The more clocks you show, the fewer traps appear, because hunters prefer fog to schedules. Scope drift in projects is the queen of traps. Born clean, dies messy. Since you're already in there, could you also? The fox's counter is the 1-page promise. 1-sentence aim, 2 levers you'll pull, 1 metric, 1 date and time checkpoint. Every added also gets 2 options. Swap a lever or name a new scope with a new date and cost. A trap needs your unpriced yes. The fox never leaves prices blank. There's a people-pleasing trap that looks benevolent. The rescue invitation. You feel chosen, you're being drafted. If they can't outline, they don't want partnership. They want a replacement nervous system. This line sounds cold to the taker and like oxygen to the adult. Hurry is the trap's favorite scent. The timeline shrinks, your standards melt, someone else's failure becomes your emergency. If no, it's not urgent. Hunters hate it. Adults exhale. You just differentiated wolves from weather. You accept as a courtesy and leave 50 minutes later with 3 commitments you never meant to take. If they say, let's just vibe, you can either decline or set a 15-minute cap with a 3-sentence close. Traps require you to forget there's an end. Foxes schedule the end first. Let's talk labeling. The fox names patterns, out loud or in your head, so you don't keep falling for new costumes. Delay and dazzle is when someone promises brilliance tomorrow to dodge accountability today. Guilt ask is when someone malfunctions emotionally to extract labor. Endless draft is when perfectionism hijacks progress. Once you label a move, it loses 60% of its power because your nervous system recognizes it as a script, not a storm. Observe the micro-yes trap. A hunter doesn't ask for a mountain, they ask for 10 pebbles. You toss them lightly and suddenly you're under rocks. Fox fix. Bundle asks. We train people how to ask us by how we accept. Bundling turns 10 chaotic pings into 1 decision point you control. Bonus, the lion can actually enforce a single point. He can't swat gnats one by one without looking angry. Audit your own tails, because traps often use your signature against you. If your flinch is over-explaining, hunters will pause and wait for you to volunteer more. The fox isn't fearless, the fox is pre-scripted. Calibrate technology to fox sight. Turn off push notifications, choose pull windows. You're not being dramatic, you're marking paths in the woods. It's yes with rails. To people who respect rails, you will feel like relief. To people who fish in fog, you will feel like a loss. Good. Your metabolism stabilizes when fog leaves. You become readable, and readable people attract real work. Let's zoom in to reading meetings. If the triangle can't be straightened, you just found a rumor economy. Withdraw your energy. Where triangles thrive, truth dies slow. Read calendars. Perpetual time steals appear as recurring blockers right before your deep work slot. Hunters move on to easier prey. Your day starts to feel like a well instead of a leak. Fox in relationships. Scan for ratio. Do they return calls at the same speed 80% of the time? Do they initiate plans at least monthly? Do they accept a boundary without a debate? The fox doesn't tally for pettiness. The fox tally prevents delusion. You can love someone without giving them your logistics. Love without logistics is poetry. Life needs prose. Now, a brief reality check. Even foxes misread. When you do, repair quietly. Don't turn a correction into a confessional. The point isn't to be right, it's to stay free. Let's finish this section by installing the Fox Kit you'll use tomorrow morning. Third, the one-page promise template sitting on your desktop for the smallest live project. Fourth, a sticky note on your monitor that reads, no agenda, no meeting, no price, no yes. Repeat until your mouth knows it without your heart pounding. You just gave the lion inside you a stable launch pad. In the next part, the lion takes the field. We'll translate quiet detection into clean enforcement, short scripts that end gimmicks, consequence systems that keep you from exploding, and presence habits that make rooms recalibrate without you raising your voice. You've mapped the traps. Now you'll learn to frighten the wolves. What if you could end most conflicts in one sentence? No spike of rage, no 5-paragraph defense, just a calm line that rearranges the air. Imagine becoming the person whose boundaries don't need announcements, because the consequence arrives as predictably as sunrise. This is the lion's promise. Presence so finished that wolves do the math before they try you. No roar, just gravity. Start with the difference between anger and enforcement. Anger vents, enforcement changes outcomes. If you can only hold a boundary at 80 decibels, you don't have a boundary, you have a mood. The lion trains for boring consistency. Boring to you, compelling to the room. Enforcement is built on 3 pillars: short scripts, steady cadence, and visible consequences. Short scripts first. These lines are not negotiations, they are closures. Practice them until your voice drops half a step and your breath stays even. The lion's tone is soft and heavy. No upward lilt, no apology tucked at the end. Now cadence. Consequences only feel real if they arrive on schedule. Pick 2 daily response windows and treat them as law. Ship weekly reps Friday at noon, every time. Why does cadence matter for enforcement? Because predictability is what makes wolves cautious. They know what will happen, not what you'll feel, and adjust to avoid cost. Visible consequences are the third pillar. Visible doesn't mean dramatic. It means unmistakable. Late draft? Triangle argument? They said you agreed? No agenda?
A lion does not narrate the past. A lion alters the future. Install the dimmer, not the switch. When a line is crossed, reduce access calmly instead of exploding. The first miss? Restate the rule. The second, reduce access, longer interval, fewer favors. The third, remove access. Move the project, stop engaging on that channel. Write this rule of 3 on a sticky note. When pressure rises, your body will want theater. Your hand will point to the rule. Presence is physical before it is verbal. The lion's posture? Feet grounded, shoulders resting down, chin level. When challenged, don't lean in. Lean back 1 inch. Keep your hands visible, palms neutral. Eye contact for 2 beats, then glance to the side while you speak the line. This tells the nervous system, yours and theirs, that you're not trapped in their frame. You're choosing your own. Let's translate this into scenarios. Work first. A teammate repeatedly needs your help right before your deep work block. You've already foxed the pattern by moving your block earlier and naming 2 windows. You repeat the line once. If not, you stop replying until 11. At 11, you respond if bullets arrived. If not, you move it to 5. Notice what you didn't do. Apologize, explain, or accuse. You taught with clock and consequence. Another work trap? The just this once scope ad. They say, since you're already in there. The lion doesn't debate fairness. The lion narrows choices. We can swap the tooltip work for the email rewrite or extend delivery to Wednesday. If they attempt guilt, I thought you were a team player. The lion repeats the fork slower. Wolves hate forks because forks end fog. Relationships. The midnight vent friend rings again. You already foxed the pattern. Windows. The lion lets it ring. Do not litigate your bedtime. The consequence, no midnight nervous system rental, is the message. Family. A relative uses a holiday to corner you into unpaid planning. If they push, you exit the conversation kindly. I'm stepping out. Exits are doors, not slams. You are not punishing, you are refusing to be drafted. A lion's secret weapon is exits on autopilot. Say them with a slight nod and a breath at the end, then disengage physically. Stand, turn to keyboard, or leave the call. People remember exits. 1 clean exit does more for your legend than a dozen lectures. Enforcement in groups means making rails visible. Post 2 or 3 norms that prevent decay. No last-minute changes without a call. Decisions closed by Friday noon. 1 reschedule per person per month. Then enforce gently every time, especially for your favorites. Lions destroy cultures when they spare their favorites. Mercy without memory breeds wolves. Mercy with memory shrinks the den. What about escalation? Some wolves bark when frightened. They'll accuse you of control, coldness, arrogance. Resist the hook. Then stop replying to adjectives. Consequences are your only argument. If they continue with smoke, you shrink access further. The room will learn that noise loses reach. Over time, noise stops. Here's a move that turns spats into structure, the 3-sentence repair. When you miss your own line, late delivery, sloppy reply, repair like a lion, not a supplicant. Missed noon by 24 minutes. I've reduced V1 scope. New delivery 5 p.m. No groveling theater, no blame spread. Adults adore this because it gives them a plan, not your shame. Your reputation doesn't drop, it thickens. The lion's calendar is armor. Put your deep work in the morning where theft is hardest. Stack meetings back to back with a 5-minute buffer and end early with a 3-sentence close. Guard evenings like borders. Install a weekly no instant yeses block where you review asks that tried to sneak in. The quieter your calendar, the heavier your presence feels. Chaos is loud. Authority is paced. Optics matter. The lion avoids messy optics that invite negotiation. Don't send 5 DMs about the same thing. Send one email with decision, owner, and date. Don't jot a dozen thoughts in a chat. Post a 1-page promise. Place your authority in artifacts. Paper beats performance because paper persists when your charisma leaves the room. Feeling shaky? Borrow breath work. Before enforcement, inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 6. On the exhale, lower your shoulders. This resets your voice. Nothing ruins enforcement like a tremor you try to outrun with speed. The lion slows. Your pacing is the first consequence the room feels. Praise as enforcement? Yes. Praise teaches patterns. People rerun what gets noticed. In the same breath, starve non-cooperation of spectacle. A neutral line, received after 3, rolling to next, is scarier than scolding. Wolves metabolize scolding. They get no calories from silence. Handle serial boundary testers with the latter. Restate, reduce, remove, replace. Restate the rule. Reduce access. Remove access. Replace their slot with someone reliable. Announce none of this, enact all of it. The tribe learns faster by watching who sits at the table than by reading your policy doc. Mercy with memory keeps your strength from calcifying. When someone apologizes with evidence and a changed process, restore partial access and a clear test. Let's run this for 2 weeks, Friday wraps, 2 windows. Mercy becomes scaffolding, not a reset to the old chaos. Without memory, mercy breeds wolves. With memory, mercy breeds partners. What if the pushback comes from power? Your boss, a key client, an elder? Lions don't posture, they frame trade-offs. To hit Friday at noon, we can ship V1 with tooltips but not the email rewrite. Power respects choice architecture. If they demand both and refuse new time, log the decision in writing. When the shortfall arrives, you have receipts. Receipts are teeth you rarely need to show because the other side can feel them. What about love? Love thrives under lions because lions create weather that doesn't change with moods. Partners relax when no means no and yes lands on time. Children bloom under boundaries that are warm at the surface and steel at the core. The lion is not a tyrant, the lion is a reliable climate. Let's install your lion kit for the next 7 days. Choose your 5 lines. Write them on a card. Say them in the mirror until your voice drops and your shoulders stay dropped. Pick one boundary you will enforce with the rule of 3. Tell no one. Let the pattern teach. Practice one clean exit today. Say, "We're done for today," nod once, and leave. Post 2 rails in any shared space you manage and enforce them gently. Do one 3-sentence repair when, not if, you slip. Then hit your next window flawlessly. In the next part, we'll braid fox and lion into one identity you can run in your sleep. A day plan that alternates detection and enforcement, a 30-day reset for your reputation, and a reconciliation ritual that brings people back under new terms without dragging you back into old traps. You've seen the snares and moved the paw. Now we'll make the stride permanent. What if, starting tomorrow, every hour of your day quietly alternated between seeing and deciding? No drama, no second guessing, so traps dissolved on contact and wolves adjusted before they arrived. Imagine waking up with a script so clean that your presence felt like a metronome. The fox scanning, the lion settling, the world recalibrating to your rhythm without a single speech. This is that script. By the end of this part, you'll have a day plan you can run in your sleep, a 30-day reset that rewrites your reputation, and a reconciliation ritual that brings people back under new terms without dragging you into old traps. You've seen the snares and moved the paw. Now we'll make the stride permanent. What if, starting tomorrow, every hour of your day quietly alternated between seeing and deciding? No drama, no second-guessing, so traps dissolved on contact and wolves adjusted before they arrived. Imagine waking up with a script so clean that your presence felt like a metronome. The fox scanning, the lion settling, the world recalibrating to your rhythm without a single speech. This is that script. By the end of this part, you'll have a day plan you can run in your sleep, a 30-day reset that rewrites your reputation, and a reconciliation ritual that brings people back under new terms without dragging you into old traps. We're not stacking hacks, we're braiding an identity. Start at the start. Mornings decide the weather inside your head. For the braid to hold, you need private abundance before public obligations. Guard the first 60 minutes with a 2-move warm-up. Scan like a fox, anchor like a lion. Fox scan. List today's traps in advance. 3 at most. Put it on your phone lock screen. You just chose your day's exoskeleton. Now structure the hours. Think in 3 blocks. Deep work, outbound, comments. Deep work, fox plus lion fused, happens earliest when theft is lowest. Close all doors, apps, tabs, people. The fox protects focus with tripwires. Phone on airplane, calendar marked heads down, timer set for 50 minutes. The rule is sacred. No one gets you here unless life or limb is at risk. If someone pangs, you don't punish or explain, you simply let the metronome carry you to your first window. Ma, ma, ma. You answer messages, set frames, and ship proofs. Your tone stays finished, short, kind, unhurried. You don't chase, you schedule. You don't scold, you reduce or remove access. The fox keeps the fog out, the lion keeps the door from swinging. Commons are the shared surfaces. Meetings, family logistics, group chats, where perception is made and remade.
The braids rule: you write the ending first. Then you run the 3-sentence close like a ritual. Here's what we decided. Here's who owns what. You will feel repetitive. Good. Repetition is what turns your choices into everyone else's muscle memory. Midday, you'll hit turbulence. Someone will try hurry, charm, guilt, or fog. This is where the braid shines, because you don't need a new you need your next move in the sequence. If they push, the lion repeats once, slower. If they escalate to adjectives about you, the lion goes dimmer, reduce access. The braid protects your energy not by cleverness alone or force alone, but by choreography. See, frame, finish. Let's turn this choreography into a 30-day reset that anyone in your orbit can't help but notice. Week 1 is the rhythm install. Pick your 2 windows and your Friday noon wrap. Announce them once, publicly and calmly, and then never argue them. You're not asking permission, you're informing reality. Enforce gently, especially for favorites. Your goal is not to look tough, it's to create weather people can dress for. Week 2 is the proof stack. Choose 2 efforts, small but visible. Wrap them in 1-page promises. Aim, 2 levers, 1 metric, checkpoint time. Ship V1 on time. Post the 3-sentence close. Name the next 10%. Invite 1 credible witness to each finish, a peer known for stingy praise. Don't campaign. Let them watch you close loops without theater. The fox writes clear trailers, the lion delivers the film. People will start repeating your lines. Let them. Your language is the scaffolding for your legend. Week 3 is the boundary audit. Identify 3 leaks you've been subsidizing. Late drafts you rescue, no agenda meetings you endure, midnight vents you absorb. Install the rule of 3. Restate, reduce, remove. Do it quietly. Expect complaint from those who lost your free oxygen. Breathe. Complaint isn't a verdict, it's a weather change. Week 4 is repair and reconciliation. You will slip. When you do, fix like a lion. 1 sentence, process attached. Missed noon by 24 minutes, reduced V1 scope. Then hit the next window perfectly. Also, select one relationship worth keeping and run the reconciliation ritual. You tell the truth about your new rails without nostalgia or blame. I'm running 2 windows, Friday wraps, and 1 reschedule. If they match you, expand access. If they narrate you, dimmer down. Reconciliation in this system is not begging, it's governance. You're inviting people to re-enter your city with a map. Underneath this month is your ledger, the optics you track so your feeling doesn't override your reality. Each Friday, answer 5 yes/no questions. Did I send any one-page promise? Did I ship something on time? Did I use the 3-sentence close? Did I choose silence inside cadence at least once? Did I execute a 3-sentence repair when needed? 3 yeses is progress. 5 is momentum. The ledger de-romanticizes your week. The braid lives in what you do. Let's address the ethics question head-on because your audience cares. Isn't all this calculated? Yes, like bridges calculate so people can cross. Calculation here isn't manipulation, it's mercy for the future. You're building a life that doesn't depend on your best mood. You're becoming a person whose kindness lasts because it's carried by rails. Then keep steering. Nothing quiets suspicion like a month of receipts. Now the reconciliation ritual in detail, because bringing people back without eating yourself alive is the final test of the braid. Step 1, context in 1 line. Step 2, present tense operating system. Step 3, invitation. I want to keep building with you. Step 4, a test. Step 5, memory. After 2 weeks, you either expand access because it worked, or you formalize distance because it didn't. No courtroom, no retroactive guilt. The braid doesn't hold grudges, it keeps records. Notice what the ritual is not. It's not an apology tour. It's not a sermon about their flaws. It's not a negotiation of your oxygen. It is a contract renewal with terms. Adults love clear terms because they protect closeness from erosion. Children, no matter their age, will throw adjectives at terms. Smile. Adulthood ends where governance begins. A word about love. Because people fear lions will make them unlovable. The opposite is true. Love gets safer when your yes has shape and your no has a back. The fox keeps you from volunteering for roles that kill attraction. Parent to partners, manager to friends, martyr to teams. The lion ensures your warmth isn't misread as weakness. Together, they turn you into the person people rely on without resenting, admire without fearing, and desire without draining. Attraction follows respect. Respect follows consequence. Consequence follows cadence. Cadence follows choice. You make the choice every morning. When backlash arrives, and it will, fall back to the metronome. A smear loves motive debates. You love receipts. If someone paints you as aloof, increase 1 ritual of human warmth that costs almost nothing but proves presence. 30-second voice notes thanking collaborators by name after a win. If someone calls you controlling for enforcing rails, point gently to the charter you posted at the start of the month. Wolves waste themselves on walls. The last layer is your face to yourself. Self-perception lags. You will keep seeing the old you in mirrors long after everyone else sees the new you at doors. Close the gap with a private ceremony at day 30. Read your ledger aloud. Speak the difference. I used to bury the lead and say yes in a hurry. Thank the version of you that bought love with compliance. Its strategy kept you safe when you knew less. Retire it with honors. Name the new strategy out loud. See early, decide once. Your nervous system craves markers. Give it one. Let's crystallize this into a 1-page operating card you can copy into your Notes app tonight. North Star, 2 sentences. What I honor today is M, only, Friday wrap at 12 sharp. If no, next window. Reconcile. Here's how I work now. What helps you feel secure? Print it, screenshot it, stare at it before the day starts and after the day ends. The card is your bridge between intention and behavior. Bridges don't feel romantic, they keep people alive. You will be tempted to add flourish. Don't. Flourish lives in your finishes. The calmer your surface, the heavier your presence. That is the fox and lion fully braided, trap spotted, wolves bored, paths clear. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Before we end, do 3 things right now. 1. Write tomorrow's North Star in 2 sentences and put it on your lock screen. 2. Schedule your 11 and 5 windows and a Friday noon wrap recurring for the next 4 weeks. Then watch what the room does. It will quiet. It will organize. It will bring you better problems. And when the old chaos knocks, you won't argue. You'll let the metronome answer. Tell me in the comments the first tripwire you're installing this week. If this message touched you, write, "I braid the fox and the lion." Let's see how many here are ready to stop living in traps, stop fighting every wolf, and start walking a road that respects them. And don't forget, keep watching the next video. It's important much more than you imagine. See you there.